Thank you once again for joining us here on Tee Vee. I'm Karla Jackson, your host, and I am welcoming you for another show. Now remember, Tee Vee is here for small and medium-sized enterprises to showcase your business, your project, your charity in such a way that feels comfortable for you. So if you are a gardener and you are doing garden work right now, and you think that that is the best way to present your business, well, come on over to Tee Vee and let's get you on the show. I'm sure someone will want to have their garden done or at least see your work and be able to give you a booking so that you can get yourself a little bit further forward. Tee Vee is here to help you. So make sure you book your slot by sending us an email, keyinspirations@gmail.com. It's the email address that you will see here at the bottom of the screen, keyinspirations@gmail.com, and we will get you booked onto the show. Today, I am really pleased to be flying over to the USA once more. You know, they're our sisters across the pond. It's kind of strange for me to imagine that the UK actually used to rule the USA, considering its size, you know, but we're going over to the USA and we're going to meet a wonderful, wonderful young lady who I recently had the pleasure of meeting, and I'm really pleased that she's opted to come on to Tee Vee today. I am sure that this interview will have lots and lots of information for those of us who have been faced with very difficult decisions given the 3 lockdowns that we are now under. Today, I am very pleased to welcome the founder and manager of the J3 Management Company, Miss Karla Jackson. Karla, welcome to Tee Vee.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to just be here with you and to share.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on. I know that there's a huge time difference, so I really appreciate the time that you've taken to come and talk to us a little bit today. We can always learn from each other. There's no end to learning. So any information that you've got to share, I am very sure will also be able to benefit us here in the UK.
Awesome. Yes, definitely.
So to kick us off, Karla, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who is Karla as a person?
Well, as a person, I am a mother of 2. I'm a wife, a daughter, sister, and I love living life, and I'd live it to the fullest. That's me in a nutshell.
So when Karla's relaxing, what does Karla do for relaxation?
For relaxation, I like to I like to really relax at home. I'm sort of a homebody, and yeah, I like to sit at home and watch a good movie, curl up in my zero gravity chair with the heat on and the blankets, and just relax.
That sounds good, especially the zero gravity chair. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, that sounds really good. So this lockdown really has not affected the way that you relax because you have been at home anyway.
Right, correct. I have been at home, but I do I do go out from work for work. I do go out. So I'm not stuck at home. And I guess it's different in Georgia because Georgia is not locked down.
Oh, Georgia's not locked down, are they not?
No, we
Oh,
not at all. We are wide open.
oh, wow,
Um,
wow.
I'm in Atlanta, so the nightclubs are open, the restaurants, the bars, the malls, like everything is open.
Okay.
So I do not go out to, I don't go to the nightclubs, but we have started to venture out to go out to eat
Okay.
and to the mall. Of course, social distancing with our mask. I carry sanitizer, wipes, everything in my purse to just try to stay as safe as possible.
As safe as possible. It makes sense, you know. I personally, I don't really go out very much. In fact, I think Sunday was the first time that I went out in probably about 4 weeks or something. And I did a singing recording and I
Mhm.
came straight back home and that was it. And in my in my bag, I had the wet wets, I had the spray sanitizer, I had the gel sanitizer,
Right.
the mask and the spare masks and everything. I had
Exactly.
everything, everything in my bag just to make sure. And there were only probably about 5 people where I was going in a huge building. But we had enough space to do the physical distancing, and we got through with the recording. And to the glory of God, it was amazing. And then came back home. That was great. All right. So in terms of work, so you own your own business. Is that right? And this
Yes.
is what you do full time, your business.
Yes.
Okay. And your business is the J3 Management Group. So you said to me earlier that you've been going since 2012. What made you start your business?
So I originally started the business as a property management company, believe it or
Okay.
not.
Wow.
Um, and I started the management company to manage my own real estate investment portfolio, just as a way to, kind of separate. Yes, the houses are owned through one entity, they're managed through another entity to shield me personally. I didn't want my tenants to know who I was. Just
Okay.
kind of the whole thing. So I laid low. Like a lot of people don't know that about me. I really do lay low. So that's how we started in 2012. Um, Fast forward to now, in 2019, we had to do a shift again because I was working with a family business, and our mother passed in November
Oh
of
my goodness.
2019,
Oh,
and our
sorry.
yeah, and our the family business did not survive her passing. So it wasn't that it wasn't financially that we didn't survive. We did not, as a family unit, survive.
Oh,
So
that must have been very, very difficult. Is it a large family?
it's four of us.
Okay.
Just it's for her children.
Okay.
So I have three other siblings. So that that unit did not survive as our mother would have liked, but it was
Sorry.
okay. So we went through that transition,
Mhm.
and then we transitioned again in 2020 to bring in my the company back up, and we are doing now we're doing tag and title service, which
Okay.
we already had over 20 years experience because this is that's what we did as a family business. So we
Ah.
already had the experience. We had clientele seek us out, so that's what really caused the first pivot there. So they seeked us out, and we've been going ever since with our tag and title service. Then we also did another. I wouldn't say a complete pivot, but we added more services to what we offer. So we were able to purchase a commercial building in July of 2020. So now that houses our tag and title service. We've also been able to provide office rental space to other businesses. And we've also been able to offer mailbox rentals for other businesses, giving them a physical address with a suite number so that they can shield their personal home location and not have to use that for their business address.
Okay. All right. This is actually really interesting. So you said that you run a tag and title. For the
Mhm.
benefit of those of us that are not aware of what that is, can you explain what a tag and title service is?
Yes, so we register and renew vehicles. So we can take a vehicle, a brand new vehicle off the factory, from the dealership. It comes with the MSO, which is considered the car's birth certificate. We take that MSO, get the title, turn it into a title that's in the company's name, and then we also get a tag or a plate for their vehicle, like a license plate for their vehicle.
Okay, and this is for vehicles that are going to be leased or privately owned.
They are majority of them are leased vehicles.
Okay, so
Mhm.
this is a service that you do for companies that lease vehicles mainly, and not necessarily private individuals, or are you sort of like the leasing company?
So we are not the leasing company yet.
Mhm.
That's something
Yet,
that we are,
yet.
yes, yes. That's something that we actually have plans for the future is to be able to provide vehicles for small businesses that may only need one or two vehicles versus a fleet where you have hundreds of vehicles. So
Well,
we can process
very good
anywhere
point.
from, we could do 10,000 vehicles easy.
Wow. Okay. And you said that this is something that this is what the original business idea was. This is what the original business model was.
Right. And
Okay.
we took it and we revamped it and we expanded. As a family business, we only were present in 2 states. And now, as we've pivoted and made this our own company and our own service, we're now in about 15 states in the
Wow.
United States. Yeah.
Well, that is some growth between 2012 and now. From 2 states to 15. That is real growth. How do you sit and analyze or map where you are going to? I'm going to come back. There's something here that you said about the mailbox rentals. I'm going to come back to that. But how do you analyze the data that you've had? Because you said you made the shift in 2019. So
Mhm.
between 2012 and 2019, you had all of that data. How do you analyze the data to make the gradual shift from 2 to 15?
To be completely honest, I didn't go off any data. I went off of what I thought and how I was feeling, being that, our family we've done it as a family for over 20 years.
Mhm.
And we stayed in the same place for 20 years. We didn't grow. And I said, well, why not? What stopped us from growing? Why didn't we do it? So my question was, why?
Mhm.
And then, everyone looked at me and was like, well, I don't know, because this is just what we do. And I was like, well, that doesn't make sense to me. I said, well, let's figure out what do we need to do so that we can do more than 2 states because it's out there for us to get it. And I didn't have pushback because I don't have to answer to all these other people. And so, I did the research. I do have a business partner, which is my older sister. I am the youngest of four. So
Oh,
my
wow.
sister that's right above me, we've partnered together and we work very well together. She allows me to be creative, um, and I allow her to do. So
Okay.
those are our strengths. She's gonna make sure it gets done. I'm gonna figure out a way to do it. I'm gonna come up with an idea, and she figures out a way to make it happen.
You see, that's great synergy, because if both of you were creatives coming up with the ideas and there was no one to come up with a way to implement it, then it
Mhm.
means that the growth that you experience will not be as fast or as exponential as you want it to be. Or maybe it might be just, you might just be at the same place. So it's important that you've got people who have different skills across the business. And when you find someone, I love to hear about family businesses that work,
Yeah.
where people are working well together, the synergy is right, the energy is right, and people are able to work well together to push the business forward. I love to hear about that. So it's great that there's someone that you can work well with, that you can pick up the phone at 3 a.m. and don't feel any way about doing it, because that's my sister, that's my brother. I can call him anytime. It's
Yes.
great.
And it's actually very, we spend our days together because we call it at work, but we're here in our building. We work together. We share an office.
Yeah.
We share not only an office, but we also have a workspace that we share. Um, and then we can still, hang out as sisters on the weekend. So, most people are like, don't y'all get tired of seeing each other every day? It's like, but we love spending time together.
Great, great stuff. said you also do mailbox rentals
Mhm.
for companies to have a private address so that they can separate their business address from their, sorry, so companies can have a corporate address so they can separate their business address from their private address. Does that service extend to persons who are resident overseas or only for people who are in the US?
That's a great question. I've never been asking from anyone overseas, but if I were, I would tell them what I tell everyone else. If you're okay with having an Atlanta, Georgia address,
Mhm.
then yes, you can do it.
All right. Would you be able to think of a scenario where someone from overseas might want to have a U.S. address, whether it is for for business purposes?
Definitely. If you want to get into an industry where you are in the United States or you want to establish a branch in Georgia, then
Mhm.
you would want a Georgia address. You would want a United States address.
Okay.
Um, that's something that I could see that I've seen before, just from other people that have migrated over to the United States. They need an
Mhm.
address, and you don't want to use your home address.
Mm, mm, mm. Okay, but these are people who are leaving where they are physically to relocate to Georgia. What about the person who is, let's say, resident in Australia, but they offer a service? Let's say that they offer, let's say, a web designing service,
Hmm.
and they want to offer, because you can do web designing anywhere,
Hmm.
and they want to offer it to persons who are living in the US, somewhere in the US, but they don't necessarily want to appear as not being in the US.
Right.
Would your company be able to offer a US address to them, given that they're resident in Australia?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I would just need two forms of identification to identify who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you would set up. We're connected with the post office. So in order to have a mailbox, we have to let the post office know, well, this is our newest tenant that has a mailbox. This is their name. That's all the information they get is their name and then our address. They don't even get their address.
Ah,
Hmm.
okay. So that's
Hmm.
how the mailbox service works. I think that that's a really, really great service to offer because it does open you up to basically the rest of the world, doesn't it? I mean, you can get
Yeah.
clients from anywhere in the world, given that. All right. Now,
I think us as Americans, we have a hard time accepting people from other countries as equal.
hmm,
Do you ever get that? Because
um,
they'll always say, "Well, I want somebody. I want an American to do this," and it's like, well, they may be just as talented or probably even more talented, but it's the perception of they're not in the U.S. and then it kind of
uh,
shuts you off. And I think that's maybe an American thing.
Well, I know that there are countries that prefer to have stuff done by people who are not resident in the country where they are because for some reason they think the people where they are not as good as people where they are not. And we do sometimes tend to get, especially with online service based products or services,
Hmm.
they tend to want to have someone from the States or someone from here, someone from Canada, someone from one of the larger states, rather than looking for local. It's one of the things that I actually admire about Americans, the fact that they want to try and keep most things American, but when it borders on being overly prejudicial, that's where I have an issue. If it's going to border on being overly prejudicial, then there is a way that we as small businesses can actually open up the market and
Hmm.
really help the economy to grow by accepting work or allowing other places to work, because I'm one that believes the more you give, the more flows back to you.
Yes.
There's a spiritual, and I know that you're a Christian, so there is a spiritual principle behind this, where as we are free and give of ourselves to God, the more He can pour into us, and that transcends. And we have this saying, as it is in the spiritual realm, so it's in the physical realm. It transcends into the physical realm. The more we give into the economy, the more comes back to us. If we keep our hands tight, then we're kind of cutting off the flow of what can actually come and flow to us.
Right. Because if your hands are closed, you can't receive.
Can't receive. You've got to open up in order to receive. To get it, well, you can't give or receive when your hands are
Right.
like this. You can only hold on to what you have. Only when you do like this can you both give and receive. And maybe that's a principle that we all need to try and apply to life.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. So you noted that in July of 2020, you all were able to purchase a building. In July, practically the entire world was in a lockdown. How
Yes.
were you guys able to look for a building and actually go ahead and process purchasing this building? What was it like in Georgia?
So the building it's a bank. So we bought a bank.
What?
Um, yes, it is a bank, and it's a building that I've always wanted to buy ever since it's been for sale. And it was something that I spoke with my mother about. I said, "Hey, we've been in business, our family business has been here for over 20 years. We should own real estate. Like, we need property. We don't have anything tangible. You need a legacy. We need something that we can, keep going on and on and on."
Yeah.
And she said, "You know what? You're right. We should buy it." She said, "Buy the building." And that was one of the last things that she told us was she told me was to buy the building. And I had a really, really good real estate agent. She's awesome. She helped me to do some a residential transaction to sell property. And I said, I want to buy this building. And she said, okay. She brought me by. She called and we came in and I toured the building. I took pictures, video. I took everything back to my mom and she was like, "I like it. What are you going to do with it?" And I said, "Let me write it down."
Mhm.
So everything that I wrote down that I wanted to do with as a family, we did with just the two of us. So we wrote it down and it happened. And we ended up closing on the building on my mom's birthday in July.
Oh wow, what an awesome birthday present for your mom.
Yes.
Brilliant, that's amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
she must have been very, very happy about that. What a beautiful gift to give her.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well done, you all. Well done. Well done. So the rest of the world is closing in and imploding, and you guys are thinking outside the box and thinking about how you can progress and to go forward. That's
Mhm.
really lovely. But what was it that gave you that peace about going forward? I mean, you're buying a building, there's COVID-19 going on, there's businesses that are closing.
Right.
What gave you that peace about getting this building and being assured that you were going to be able to service the mortgage or do what you wanted to do with it?
Prayer, a lot of prayer. Um, Writing it down, making it very plain what it is that we wanted, what do we want it to do, um, and just living with that. That's one thing that we put into our business model is prayer. So any goals that we start off, like we did our goals for 2021 in December of 2020, and one of the first things we put on there is prayer. That's part of our business model. And so that just really reassured us that everything was going to be okay. I mean, of course, we run the numbers. Um, I tell my sister, I don't know where these numbers came from, but I was able to put numbers on paper from out of my head. And I'm like, it makes sense, but it was almost unbelievable. Like, does this really make sense? Can we really do this? And I was just like, wow. So I had to do projections to
Mhm.
get the loan. And I did these projections. I was able to explain the projections. They do an interview call with you. I explained the projections. And when I went back to look at them, I was like, I don't even know how I came up with these numbers, but it worked. I said, this was nothing but God. It worked. And actually, we actually exceeded those numbers from our 2 year projections. So in 2 years' time, we did it in less than a year.
Wow. Exceedingly,
Yes.
abundantly, far above all
Yes.
you could ask or think. Wow.
Yes.
That is a testimony and a half.
Yes.
Seriously, that's amazing. I mean, I know very often when we sit with coaches, business coaches, they always say, get excuse me, get your vision board
Mm-hmm.
and put up there on that vision board what it is that you want to achieve, or get a piece of paper and write it down so that you can work on it step by step. I haven't heard really of anyone being able to put figures together that they didn't know where the data was coming from. They were able to explain it, and then they also exceeded the projections and the figures that they put down. You're right, that can't be anything but God.
Yeah.
Nothing but God, nothing but nothing but nothing but God.
Yes.
That's
So
amazing.
I
Wow.
definitely I stay humble, and I still give back to the community.
Yeah.
I I just continue to do what I was doing before. Like I was unemployed the middle of November of 2019 until almost the end of January 2020.
And was that when you said you were unemployed? Were you working in another business, or it was
No,
the family business? So, okay. And that was when you guys pivoted.
yes. So
Okay.
that's that was the pivot. Mhm.
All right. So J3 Management Group, how many businesses you actually run under this umbrella?
So we run one business, but we have three services.
Okay. When I grow up, I want to be like you.
So everybody asks, well, where did you get the name J3? And I said, well, I don't tell them originally how it came up. So originally, the name J3 came from me and my two children. We all three of us have the same initials. So I'm like, okay, we're
Oh,
gonna be J3.
okay. You see,
That
I can't risk to do that because all of us in my family, we also have the same initials. It started with my mother and father. I've got two siblings, and all of us have the same first initial.
mm-hmm.
And when I was praying about a husband, I said his first name must begin with K, and God granted me that request. It's not easy to find a man with a name that begins with K. So, and his name is quite unusual. And
Okay.
then we had a son, and we started his name with K. But three Ks, you start the KKK, and you can't mix it. You can't.
True. True. So we are all KJ.
Oh,
So I was blessed to be able to keep my maiden name as my married name because I married my husband. We had the same last name.
wow. Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
that's a conversation for another day because we there's many people now that are going to be asking, how did you know you weren't related? Are you sure you're not distant cousins? And
Oh, we're positive. We're not related. We're
well,
positive. We
good.
are. We went down that. We went down that road very early on to make sure.
Well, I would expect so if you're going to walk down the
Yes.
yeah, you would need to make sure. It's funny, you do some Bible stories and you wonder how did but anyway, that, like I said, that's probably a question for another day. But this is all very amazing. So J3 Management Group, where do you see it being positioned now? Now that it seems that, well, you said Georgia is not in lockdown.
Right.
Okay, so you guys have not been in lockdown. Have you never been in lockdown, or you were and now you're not?
We were, and now we're not.
Okay,
So
so
we did go where you were not able to move around unless you were an essential worker.
Okay.
So I and our business is an essential business because we are in transportation.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to make sure that, our clients are their vehicles are legal to be on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So we never shut down. We
Oh,
kept going, and we were able to, still go to work, to make sure that they had what they needed because our vehicles are, the supply chain has to keep going.
yeah.
So we register and renew 18 wheelers all the time, and they are transporting goods from one place to the next. So why, your grocery store, you need your groceries. You need that truck to be able to bring the groceries and deliver them. Well, that truck needs a license plate that's valid to be on the road.
Yes.
So that's what kept us going because we are essential workers.
Okay.
There were a lot of states that did close and tag offices or the office, the DMV. I think a lot of people may know what a DMV is, where you
Yes.
get your tag from. Those places closed. So
Ah.
we had to, really come up with an idea of what do we do? So it was a lot of dealing with governors and mayors to say, hey, what are you going to do for the people whose registrations are going to expire?
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to get pulled over? So, there was a lot of governors and mayors that really was like, okay, we're not going to give you a ticket because you're expired. We've extended the deadline on when you have to have your stuff renewed or
Great.
registered.
Great. Great.
So, yeah.
That's what you call forward thinking, making sure that you identify an opportunity and then you position yourself to fill or to fulfill that opportunity. That's another essential thing that most business coaches will say that you need to do as you are a business, and you've done it beautifully and smoothly and seamlessly. Congratulations to you in the midst of everything that was going on, because the rest of the world, we were watching the developments of COVID-19, the developments of the presidential election, and the general economy that was going on over there. And to sit here and to hear how you have taken the circumstances outside and use them to positively advance your business. Welcome to you. Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Carla, this has really been a fantastic time talking with you. I always say when the conversation gets going, you never realize how quickly the 30 minutes go. But it's,
Right. Right.
it's almost the end of the 30 minutes. And what's left is for me to ask you the curveball question. So I am making this up as I go along. Here is what we call an easy peel. Inside here, there are probably between 8 and 10 in segments, what we call segments. So
Mhm.
if I peel this and I pull a segment, can you give me 10 different things that any small business needs to do to make sure that they are fireproof for COVID?
Um, First thing is making sure that you can work remotely,
Okay,
having the technology in place.
okay.
Um, if you have a staff or if you have employees, making sure that they can work remotely so that your business does not stop. Um, the next thing would be to make sure you have a relationship with your bank because, if you need a loan during COVID times, you don't want to just call your bank and say, hey, I need a loan, and you don't have a relationship with them. Um, the next thing would be learn to collaborate, collaboration,
Three more.
essential. Um, Spirituality.
Okay, spirituality. Good. Two more.
Let's see.
Okay, so
Creativity,
creativity, great stuff. Yes, and one more. Family.
family, always family.
Always
Family
family.
is the piece that holds it together. That's the last piece.
Well done, Carla. That was the curveball question. You aced it. Well done.
Oh,
Well
wow.
done.
Okay.
Oh gosh, this has been really fun. Thank you so very much for coming on and for sharing so candidly with us. There was a lot of stuff there that you said, and there's plenty there that will give food for thought. And I want to say, and all the very very best for 2021. You've got your head screwed on the right way, and given all of the fantastic work that you've done so far with the business, you and your sister and the rest of your collaboratives, because like you said, you can't build a business without collaborating somewhat. And so the rest of your collaboratives, you've done really, really, really well to position J3 Management Group where it is, and upwards and onwards from here by the grace of God.
Yes, thank you so much. I really enjoy this.
Great stuff. And I also want to say thank you so very much to those of you who have joined us for Key TV today. Remember, if you would like to book your slot, get in touch with me, keyinspirations@gmail.com, or you can drop me a line on Instagram or on Facebook just by going to @keyinspirations, and you'll find me right there. Until the next time we come to you with Key TV and Karen Reeves Toppin, your accountability coach, asking you to stay safe. And bye for now.